over the summer. And also we have a nice wee message in it. So if I feel like Gaber now, roll it there, Roisin.
Let's see. Give me 2 seconds there. I will have to disconnect my own audio mic here, so bear with me here a second, okay?
Great. Somebody else is not organised either. I'm not the only one.
Just so you can hear the actual audio from the feed. So give me 2 seconds there.
Can everybody make sure they have their signed in to the chat?
Inishowen Development Partnership covers an extraordinary amount of ground, ranging from job creation, education, skills and training, the social economy and entrepreneurship, farm sustainability and rural development, to family support, social inclusion and health and well-being, and much more besides. We have grown steadily in response to local needs and developing innovative approaches with a focus on early intervention, prevention and collaboration.
When COVID-19 arrived in March 2020, IDP quickly understood that there was a crucial need to pull together as a community, more than ever, and as part of that, the network that links social enterprises in Inishowen was reignited, ISEN. The network proved invaluable as it provided support, awareness and help to social enterprises who were struggling to stay afloat during these unprecedented times. IDP staff organised and provided training, including online and communication platform supports and mentoring to all the ISEN cohort.
When we spoke to the ISEN members, it was apparent that they felt isolation, uncertainty, loss and anxiety about the future of their social enterprise businesses. The network gave them a place to share their worries, offer peer support and to help each other through a very difficult period. In spite of all of this, members of ISEN proved their value, resilience and dedication during the COVID emergency, helping through the community call, Inishowen Food Bank and much, much more. You had to pivot your business model, innovate and diversify. You were there to meet the needs and fill gaps locally and show that you had already started to think to the future through innovative ideas such as beekeeping training, community gardens, country markets, virtual galleries and remote working spaces. You used this time to carry out repairs, maintenance, upgrading to LED lighting, deep cleaning and getting health and safety just right. You were even banking ideas for your post-COVID future. Initiatives such as community libraries, drama, online charity shops, youth support such as a hug and a mug, children's outdoor exercise classes, and a vibrant community pantry, to name but a few. You made decisions and took measures you thought you would never have to take and met challenges head on. Let us look to the future and make 2021 the year of recovery. Now is the time to hit the reset button.
The recent positive news that a vaccine for COVID-19 is imminent is so welcomed by us all. As stated by Minister Heather Humphreys at the recent National Social Enterprise Conference, we remain optimistic and see 2021 as the year of recovery. Not only will ISEN be a part of the road to recovery, but you will be a driver in social and economic development in Inishowen, and we at IDP will be with you every step of the way to support you and provide assistance in any way we can.
Hi everybody, my name is Andrew Ford and I'm from the Department of Rural and Community Development. It's a pleasure to speak to you. I just want to wish you all the very best. I know this has been an extremely difficult year. You've innovated hugely, you've adapted massively to deliver your mission. It hasn't been easy. We recognise that, but what I've seen and what I've heard is that you've come together as a really strong unit. There's an excellent network up there in Inishowen, and you know, something we should be all extremely proud of. I I know there's a lot of very exciting plans for the year ahead. I can tell you that we're watching and we're looking forward to seeing how things develop, and we hope that the lessons learned up there can be also replicated elsewhere. So just congratulations everybody again. You're doing an excellent job. As they say, hold firm. We'll get through this and brighter times to lie ahead. So thanks very much for your time and the very best of luck.
That's lovely, Dennis. Well done. Anybody, any feedback?
That's
good.
That's the short version. There's a 40-minute version as well that'll be up on YouTube with all your interviews and stuff. So that's quite
Quite a piece of work.
Yeah, no, but the interviews are really they're honest, you know. So you did really well with them all, you know. It was kind of just put everything out in the open more or less for the times that are in it. You know?
Yeah, they were definitely a snapshot in time. You know, they were.
It's nice that they're actually been recorded, because it says a lot about all the groups, what they were going through at the time. You know, obviously we couldn't put that video up here at the moment because you'd be here all day, but everyone got a good shot at it there in the main interview. You know, and it'd be nice for you all to have it. You know.
And what are the key problems, you know what I mean, facing social economies, you know, especially in Inishowen? Like, is there, you know, we see it a lot with a lot of the regular businesses and the, you know, commercial businesses, and they're finding it hard, you know, with staff and managing expectations of customers and things. Is it very different for you guys, or is it much the same? Because I know that as a social economy, you also must, you know, earn an income as well. So is there any bigger challenges that you're facing? Thank you, Alice.
And I would say, like, as we're mainly managers and we're responsible to a committee, and a lot of the rules, like you were talking about governance just as I came in late, but like, it's all them kind of things that stop you getting on with doing your day-to-day. Although we're closed at the moment for all intents and purposes, but when we open again, we'll want to be running classes and running events and having our youth club back in and cleaning and painting and doing all the things that we normally would be able to do in a safe environment. And I just think that it's a red tape that restricts a lot of what we do. And it also restricts, like, my committee, so most of them are younger than me, but the reality is I call them now a spent force, for want of a better word, because they've been there that long. It's, you know, it's very hard in our small rural area to get fresh people with fresh ideas that were willing to come on board on a regular basis. And I would imagine most of the committees that we're looking at here is the same people, and there's nothing wrong with them, but if you listen to all our governance, they're telling us to get rid of them and get in fresh ones. And unless we make them in a factory down the road or take them in from China, they're not about. That's
there's a challenge for an engineer. No, I'm
Yeah,
here to
yeah.
But and this is very true. And my side of things, like policy and compliance, is and I'm very black and white on those kind of things. But at the end of the day, what I think is that the amount of work that has been put in by those committees, over the years, it has to be valued. But at the same time, there has to be that fresh blood, like whether it's that person is linked to somebody younger who has ideas and is interested in bringing that on, you know what I mean? So how do we if you think that SkillNet is a great opportunity for people in business to get training subsidized and delivered in Inishowen, is there a way in the future that we can link these businesses that are doing a lot of work and really stepped up to it with SkillNet, that they can also support the like of a social economy businesses, because they're the lifeblood, they're the people who are bringing jobs to the area, they're the people who are going to as well. And I know you straddle both because you have a business, but you're also very much part of your community. Deirdre Bradley yesterday was exactly the same. She's putting so much energy out there, So, is there ideas there for us to do something? That's the question, you know what I mean? And how can, is there some way of doing this? That's the $1 million question.
Well, I don't want to hog this thing too long.
You're all right.
The thing is, we depend, and I'm looking at Nuala as well, and all the small community centres throughout Inishowen depend on all them businesses. Like our job is with a begging hat. Every time they meet us, they don't want to see us half the time because we're begging, looking for something, and we can't give very much back, to be fair. But I don't know. I don't want to be a negative at the end of this year, but we're doing okay. But I think we could do better with less of the legislation and more. Like if I want to run my caravan site and I decide I want to do, I do it. Now. Allegedly, Mairead's a director and she signs forms once a year, but that's the height of her involvement in my business or in our business. But with community, you're covering your arse. Everything has to be registered. Every even brainwave has to be recorded in a minute, or I think it restricts. And then trying to get the other people in. The first thing we hand them now is a booklet about that there thick, telling them this is what you've got to do and this is how. And
I wrote one of them.
I started a girl there last week, and a tusk worker, right? And she's here to give me a hand or to do it. And I says, look, your job first is to read all that there so that you have an idea on how we operate and what we need, and give the whole history lesson. And I just felt there might be a genre of people who can deal with all that, but there's a genre that's not. It's very restrictive. That'll be my thinking.
Yeah,
I think Nuala had it in the chat there that the paperwork for the numbers of staff that are involved and the reporting to a committee is prohibitive. So it's kind of always just firefighting rather than really having the freedom to move ahead. There's no shortage of ideas. There's an abundance of ideas. It's space that I think that the groups need in order to move those on. Yeah.
But the thing about it is too, two things, I suppose. At the end of the day, it's public money, so therefore we have to be answerable for any spends. I know from SkillNet, I've never seen anything like the level of admin that comes with it ever in any project I've ever done. But the thing about that as well is, rather than handing somebody a book, get them a link to a video that they can watch, and record it rather than have to read it. Give it in bite-sized pieces, So Poker Productions did a course for us the other day there, and she's coming back in January. Remember that ISAN can avail of funding through SkillNet. I know there's a percentage, but for a lot of the courses we ran this year, it was 100% funded. So if you are generating an income, therefore for the most part you can access any of the skill nets as well. So anything that we can do, definitely, just tell us what you need. And that's the whole idea, I suppose, of the 12 days, was to get a feel of where you guys are at, what you would like to see, and how we can go into 20. Because if you think back at the start of 2020, would we ever have done half of what you have done this year? Would you have ever really stepped out of your comfort zone? You'd still be doing the same as what you would have done last year, the year before, and the year before. So where you've come to me is totally amazing. Looking from the outside, looking in. So don't sell yourself short. I know it can be very frustrating, definitely, but I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
We would have made a lot more money if COVID didn't come, but our business is mainly tourism during the summer. We would have kept our cafe maybe open. We would have also had our golf classics. We would have had our Christmas markets and our bazaars, things that would be big earners for us. So, all right, we have a lot of paperwork done and we have a lot of admins and stuff done, but Joe Soap doesn't see that in the street. They see that you're doing nothing.
Well, I think a lot of people are, at the end of the day, a lot of people are either hopefully in employment for the most part, or their businesses, and they also see that they're either on two sides. They are either hospitality industry who, Inishowen has been called the wedding capital of Ireland for about 30 years. Anybody who wants to know anything about running a wedding, you go up to Inishowen and you talk to some of the hoteliers. That's what Fáilte Ireland has always done and said. So their wedding business, it's gone. Their whole year's gone. So, there is that side that everybody, what is it they said? We're not all in the same boat, but we're all in the same storm. And that's definitely very, very true. The only thing is all the paperwork's done. So in 2021, you can go at it.
I didn't say it was all done,
but yes, it is. Yes, it is. Karen's watching. Yes, it is. So no, but that's anything else happening, Karen, that you want to share with us that you've got planned? I know you.
Yeah. Well, the guys know we've started our training, or we have a suite of training set up for next year. We haven't dates in yet, so we'll get them done early in the new year once you guys decide which the sequence in which you want them. So we have started the governance training, and it's well underway. We have the effective funding and proposal writing. We have key considerations of starting a community venture, and it's around that both piece of succession and the committees and all the things that you need. The transitioning then, I suppose, maybe moving to more sustainable, to trying to get a more sustainable income. So transitioning from the community, kind of the traditional community group, to more of a social enterprise structure, and then committee skills and online meetings. And I know that this is something that the boards are struggling with to some degree. Not all boards, but some are. And then social media for the sector as well. So those are some of the things we've planned, and that's all part of the Thrive program that will be delivered in 2021. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, you're working with Brian O'Neill on that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, there's a consortium. Yeah.
I've known Brian for a long number of years, and he is he's really, really good, very, very good. So it'll be really, really good to see what happens there. So as I say, we're facing now into 2021, like yourselves, we started 2020 with a skill net for a pilot for the year. What a year to take on a pilot was. I'll say nothing, but anyway, so in their wisdom, skill, I don't know, well, maybe not in their wisdom, but they have decided to give us a pilot of a second year, which has never been heard of, for the 4 pilots that they funded last year. So 2021 offers us the opportunities to be able to, look at what's available. And again, it is just on the training point of view and events. But the thing about it is, with Karen and Aisling worked with us on a job club project for people from the hospitality industry who were out of work. So we looked at a brand ambassador program for them, and we had really, really great numbers. We had 40 in total that went through that. So the thing about that is we now have the opportunity to tailor next year. So your ideas and what you would like to see happen, if you get them to Karen, and then we can plan them out. But it's very much about what's needed on the ground, how do we get it there, and how do we get it delivered, and also using your venues to deliver once we can start delivering back in classrooms. So, you know, we will be spreading as much of the activity as possible around all of the different venues. So that's the plan of action, you know, so as well. So the vaccine is the next big what if, you know what I mean, I suppose, for a lot of people. But for Q1, have you used anything in Pacific in Q1 that you are looking at, Karen?
Yeah, well, we're continuing with the governance, Anna. That's the priority. We're meeting early in January. Brian's contacting everybody on the 4th. Ali, he said you were first. And then no, so we have the suite of training set up, so we will do them in sequence of the group. So once we get together, we're having a coffee tomorrow for those that can join. So we'll have a chat and see. You know, the network's very much led by the network members, and we try to respond to what the needs are at the time. And we hope that that's the way it'll continue into 2021. So it'll be what you guys decide.
Mm-hmm. And I know from the session we had with Aisling and Mary from the Job Club, you know, about, you know, on the ground who in your locality need help, need support. But it's, you know, look at spoiled. Just see Alex just spoiled his Christmas. I don't think so. But you know, if there is pockets of people who you feel are looking at reskilling, I had a conversation yesterday with Sligo IT in relation to retrofit. And retrofit is going to be the key word next year, and looking at buildings, properties and homes, and how the funding is going to be accessed. But the thing about it is we don't have enough electricians and plumbers. They're not in Inishowen. So is there something that we could reach out and be able to build something there? Working with Donegal ETB, we're looking at the APL, looking at the skills that people currently have and how we can build a qualification to get them into the like of the apprenticeships, or get them a qualification that will secure that job. Because, you know, these are jobs that are available. You know, they're here, they're in Inishowen, they're here now, and they're looking for them for early January. So keep that in mind as well, if you have, or if there's, you know, an option there to talk to, and we can sit with Mary and Aisling and see, can we plan out and see, can we get some more. I remember the last recession, Anne McGrory said that she was going to train all the plasters to be barmen. Well, now we're going to have to train all the barmen now to be plumbers and electricians or bar people. So but you know, it's an option, guys. It's something that maybe we could look at as well. Okay, so that's everything covered off. Any questions, anybody? Because we're doing all the chatting. Anybody? The views must be fabulous at Fort Dunree today at this weather. I just
it must be you're not up there, Aunt Bernie, are you? Must be freezing. You're on mute there.
You're on mute. Mm-hmm.
I was on for a wee while this morning, and this was my excuse to come home then to meet all.
to thaw out.
It's very cold up there these days.
I know, but beautiful.
Can imagine.
But it was nice yesterday. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's very quiet now. We don't have any visitors, but there are a few about, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People coming out from the north, maybe that has, isolating, or not isolating, but not at work, so they're booking a
cabin
house
fever
and passing the time just so.
Mm-hmm.
Many walkers, Bernie?
We always have walkers every day. We have the usual group. We call them the last of the summer wine. this group of neighbours, you know, and the men, like, and they come and they gossip in the morning, and they come back in the evening, and they gossip in the evening.
Definitely.
So they do
Are you
keep an
sure
eye
it's
on
not
things.
women that does that?
Huh?
Sure it's not women that does that?
No, it's all men.
If you really need to find out something, go to any man and he'll tell you.
Absolutely.
He'll get it. It's only second-hand evidence when it gets to us.
They see everything and they hear everything, like, you know.
I have to say, I'm very proud at the moment. We've got a fabulous new tree in Muff, new Christmas tree. So Mura, he's hiding behind his he's not on camera, but it is brilliant. And do you know something? The pictures you put up last night, Ali, in Malin, oh my God! You know, people are, you know, really, really putting the effort in, that if you are out and about, even if you can't talk to somebody, at least you can take in, you know, the views and the scenery and everything else, you know, and it's brilliant to see. And that's, you know, that is very visual of the work that you all do. You know, that's not the commercial entities that are doing that. Yes, Heidi, go for it.
Can I just do a quick pitch there?
Yeah, please do.
At the moment, Hugh, our new marketing officer, is doing a little bit of a campaign on the best trees. What do you think of the best tree in Inishowen? So he's actually going, he's got some family that are just coming home. He's taking them for a trip up to see the Greencastle Christmas tree. So what I would say to anyone around the area, please take as many photographs as you can of your own locality and Christmas trees and send them in to us, because, you know, it is creating a little bit of talk and chat around trying to keep people a bit upbeat, you know, with the way that we're celebrating. I mean, just as a one-off thing, you know, even like when I was going through the main street in Buncrana the other day, I know Flaherty's have got the snow blower coming out, and it's going over, like they got it all done up lovely and Flaherty's, and the children were all not wanting to leave this area because all the snow was coming down, and they were like smiling and playing, and you know, and it was just wonderful just to see that little bit, the capturing of a little bit of happiness, you know, at the end of a year that's been so difficult. So, you know, just my pitch there anyway, just any photos over Christmas, you know, any bit of cheer, please send them in to Explore Inishowen, because we just want to keep that rolling, you know.
I sent them, Heidi, but I don't know who received them, but somebody answered me today and they didn't put a name on it, but I sent them to go visit.
Yeah, it'll be Hugh. So our new marketing officer is Hugh Callahan. Just to introduce him just quickly, Hugh is from Callahans of Burt, the Callahans of Burt. So he has got many cousins and big, far-reaching sort of family out there. He's also a big fan of the Ingrinon, and you know, he takes lots of nice videos and everything up there. So he's working really, really well at the moment to enhance our website, to look at how we can package things up in visitor experience, how we can do best for businesses now for sales. So there is a lot of behind the scenes work going on that everybody's going to be very aware of early next year. So yeah, please just send in the information to him if at all possible. And thank you very much, Dennis, for the lovely video. I actually really do look forward to listening to the managers, because I do think that we all did that from a very heartfelt place at the time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, brilliant.
We were actually coming out sometimes thinking, you know, it's kind of, it hit home, and we'd kind of done a couple of edits. I could start waffling now, but we did a couple of early edits, and you know what, we were kind of, probably ourselves, we were probably sugarcoating it a bit. And then we thought, no, do you know what? We might as well be as honest as you lot. You know, so there are parts in it where, as I say, we've just left things in and let people say it how it is, you know.
Yeah, and that's important. That's important too, for people to get the real message, you know.
Big thing, you know, the isolation, massive, you know, for community groups, but also, so not being negative about it, all the positive being the togetherness, everybody being in touch with each other and finding, you know, comfort and helping each other out and stuff, very big in that too as well, you know. So that comes across very well in the network as a whole, you know.
And just to say that, you know, the Innovation Inishowen SkillNet Facebook page, share anything there across and we'll get it out. And I know Aislinn's always really good at picking that up, and Geraldine at IDP, and they'll share it out as well. So anything that you're doing, you know, we're more than happy to help in any way we can. You know, so that's, yes, Ali.
We don't have a lot on this year. So this year we'll have less on because we're going to do a Christmas swim on St. Stephen's Day. So if you see that, please give it a wee share. I did see your email that came in, Nuala, and I hope you have it shared somewhere on Facebook. That is a lot easier for me to send it on down the line than pulling it in from an email and then making a poster or whatever. So hopefully I'll see your message at some stage and send it on as well. And again, Anna, although we're going to be meeting tomorrow for coffee, hopefully, to just again, thanks. You know, like I always felt when I joined this kind of a group, or before I joined it, we were very isolated in our own wee way. And I think even having faces on here that are looking depressed at the moment, like Nuala's just looking at the screen going, God save us, I have so much to do. But I love this. I love this because this is your chance to meet the people without meeting them, if you know what I'm saying. It's only, and I think it's been brilliant.
Yeah, we did the 30 under 30. It was just, we were doing an interview with Kate Callahan, and I was kind of, there must be more Kate Callahans in Inishowen that's, you know, that's taken on businesses and things like that, you know. So we put it out there to find out if we've we got 30 in a blink. We did a poll then, we got 27,000 votes in 2 days over it. So they're all getting their certificates out now. The finalists, the Moville really come out of its own to support. And the thing about it was, the girl in Moville, her name's just left my head. Olivia. She was nominated by Tank and Skinnies and Muff. It was another business that nominated, you know, that you could say maybe would class themselves as a competitor, but they nominated her for the work and her work ethic and everything else. So, you know, that's what I was really proud of. So, you know, there is a lot of young people out there. So maybe there's a 30 under 30 who really want to get into community.
But again, and I mentioned earlier on that we felt isolated, but we're stronger as a team when we're all together.
Yes,
like we have more clout. We can cry a bit louder. We can moan louder, and you know But when you're on your own, you're just nobody. You know, you're just. Whereas as a group, we have more, and it's the same in every business. Like that's why we have vintners, and that's why we have hoteliers associations. So why not have this group? I think it's brilliant.
It is. I know. I think it's amazing. Ashley, you wanted to say something there?
Yeah, I was just going to say in that spirit, Ali. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to attend the Social Enterprise Conference, but and it really was a crux to what we were putting into that video there as well. They're really looking forward, and they see you, and they really, I think, in Andrew Ford, you have a great champion, and Taylor Humphreys as well, and I think the network getting together, and if there's issues or ideas that you think, you know, by putting your heads together, that you can maybe bring something on board. I mean, he's a great contact that we have, and Karen's met him, and you know, he's really supportive of ISN. So
yeah, he had heard about you guys before I reached out to talk to him. So you know, you're obviously doing something right. And he knows how tight the team is, and I think you're right, Ali. I think it's about a team. You know, I think when we put in submissions, we put them in together. So and they're going, you know, whether they get to the right people at the end of the line as one thing, but at least we're putting our voice forward as a group, and I think that's important that we keep going in that vein. You know, I think 2021 will bring us opportunity to work on together on projects. I think now that we have a bit of space, I think this opening and closing and trying to work out, you know, what the regulations were and what they mean. You know, I think there was a lot of energy used on that, and I hope, you know, the 2021 that we, we'll have some of that knowledge under our belt, and we'll be able to move forward in a more kind of keep going what we're doing, collaborating, working, sharing. Connecting.
And that's it. They always say do something. Was it yesterday? Deirdre was saying do something every day that scares you. So I think the whole 2020 nearly scared us, but we've come through it. And
I've got one quick thing to say before we
yes,
go.
go ahead. Yeah.
The Envision workshops, I think, were really, really good. I was at some of the Fulcher Island ones. I think that what IDP have done in the Envision workshops have been so well received. I think they were well participated. I think it brings a lot of other strands that aren't really being addressed maybe in another visitor experience development workshops. I think combined, listening to community with maybe the industry, I think there is a balance there that has to network and knit together, because one cannot be successful without the other. So I really thought that Francine was brilliant. I think that the IDP, like with Denise and Mary and all of you that have been involved in that as well, I just think it's really good. I'm really looking forward. My electric went off for the workshop that we did the other week. I got the notes for it. But there are some things that tie in with tourism, tie in with sustainability, community, and it's something that I really want to listen to, and obviously work with Inishowen Development Partnership to make sure that we try and make that a whole voice for the community in Inishowen with regard to tourism as well. So hats off to you guys, because they were really well participated, and some great stuff that I'm looking forward to reading. Thank you, and good night and goodbye and brother.
What was the link again, by the way, for that YouTube thing? I'll just put it up now before what was the link?
Dennis?
Hang on. I'll send the link out to Karen and she'll forward it on to you. Is that all right?
Yeah. And if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind sharing it to all of our SkillNet network companies as well, just to see and put faces to names and things as well. I think would be really good for them to see the work that you're doing. So no, thank you for giving us this oversight and letting us know what you're doing. But as I say, it's a two-way street. Make sure you come back and tell us what we can do as well to help. Mura, a very pure signal. See, you need to be in Uskaheen, Mura. What does it say?
He's getting the gist.
Good stuff. Keep the spirit alive.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely. Well, these are the people that are guiding the rest of us, and it's just your energy and what you're doing that really makes Inishowen a good place to live and work and thrive, and that's what it's all really about. So thank you very much for all that you do, and have a great Christmas, and we'll see you all in the new year. All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.